Hey everyone, before we dive into this story, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more heartfelt tales like this one. I was told love could dim over time, but no one warned me how fast safety could twist into unease. When I first met Daniel, he felt like a steady harbor, calm, dependable, the type who'd recall your coffee preference and hold the door. He wasn't fiery, but he was there and I thought that was plenty. I believed I was signing up for a life free of chaos. Yet, 2 years on, the sound of his key in the door makes me tense. We'd been trying for a child, or rather, I had. Daniel seemed to think his mere presence was enough for a miracle to happen. At dinner, he'd sigh mid-bite and mention it. Heard about my colleague, Tom? His wife's expecting next month. They tied the knot a year after us. I'd nod, choke back the knot in my throat, and brace for the sting. 2 years, and what do we have to show for it? He'd mutter, jabbing at his food. Do you even want this, Emma? As if I hadn't tried every remedy, vitamins, yoga, tracking cycles, herbal teas, calming meditations. As if I hadn't wept quietly in the bathroom after each negative test. I'd force a stiff smile. Of course I do. He'd glance up sharp. What's with that look? The conversation would veer slightly. Heard Lily might be pregnant, he'd say. Crazy, right? She and Noah aren't even married. And then the jab, maybe if you were more like her, he'd trail off, barely meeting my eyes. Vibrant, lively, fertile. I'd blink, my plate blurring. He never noticed. Saturday rolled around, and Lily showed up. No knock, just breezed in like she owned the place. Hey, she chirped, tossing her shoes aside and raiding the fridge. Daniel's face lit up like a holiday display. Lil, you look amazing. He slipped a few bills from his wallet into her hand. Your monthly treat. I stared. That wasn't pocket change, it was hundreds again. He caught my look and shrugged. She's got a lot going on. So do I. I wanted to shout, but I plastered on a blank smile. Lily scanned me. You okay, Emma? You look washed out. Stress from trying. Her tone oozed pity. Don't worry, Dan still loves you. She didn't need to say more. Her smirk said it all. Daniel chuckled. Don't tease her. I'm not. Noah says I'm practically glowing. She twirled her hair, leaning closer to Daniel. Honestly, if you had someone like me, you'd already be a dad. I turned away, stacking dishes in the sink. The plates clattered too loudly, my hands shook. Later, after Lily sashayed out, I called Daniel's parents, Mark and Laura. They'd always been warm, at least before Daniel's coldness spread like ice through our marriage. I needed someone to listen. I told Laura, cautiously, about the strain, how Daniel's words cut like blades. She promised they'd visit. We'll talk to him gently, she said. When they arrived days later, I shared more. Not everything, but enough for worry to crease Laura's face. Sweetheart, she said, you don't have to bear this alone. Mark nodded. It's not a competition. Kids come when they come. You're not failing. For the first time in months, I felt seen. Daniel came home early, finding us sipping coffee in the kitchen. Laura began her careful intervention, each word chosen like delicate crystal. Daniel nodded, smiled. You're right, Mom. I've been too harsh. Emma, I'm sorry. He took my hand. I let him. It was the first warmth I'd felt from him in weeks. Laura smiled. Mark eased up. I let myself hope. Maybe he'd needed a nudge. That night, alone, I suggested the next step. What if we visited a clinic together? Just to check things, support each other. His face hardened, jaw tight, shoulders rigid. He slammed his hand on the table, making me flinch. You told them, he snapped. You told my parents we're struggling to conceive. My heart sank. I didn't mean, are you out of your mind? That's private. You've embarrassed me. But you said, I said what they wanted to hear. A clinic? What am I broken now? He stormed off, slamming the bedroom door. I stood in the quiet, staring at the mark his hand left on the table. He hadn't changed. He'd just played a part for his parents. The man who held my hand wasn't real. I didn't sleep. I scrubbed the kitchen, folded clothes, paced the hall, desperate for something familiar to anchor me. I opened the dining room cabinet. My grandmother's wedding china, delicate, floral-edged, gold-rimmed, a full 12-piece set, was gone. My breath caught. No. I yanked open every drawer. Nothing. Panic clawed at me. That china was my grandmother's, gifted to me on my engagement day. For your first real Thanksgiving, she'd said, touching my cheek. I saved yours for this. It's yours. I stumbled into Daniel's office. His laptop glowed, banking app open. I wasn't snooping, but the account names caught my eye. His personal checking and our joint savings, the future baby fund. I clicked. My stomach plummeted. His bonus, our savings, nearly $10,000 gone. Wiped out. My hand shook. The door creaked behind me. Daniel stood there, arms crossed, calm as ever. I gave it to Lily, he said. The china, too. Baby shower gift. She's going to be a mom, Emma, not you. I stared, throat dry. You gave her my grandmother's china? He didn't flinch. She's pregnant. She needs it more. My voice broke. That was mine. She gave it to me when we got engaged. He shrugged. You weren't using it. And let's be real, we're not hosting Thanksgiving anytime soon. I braced myself against the desk. The savings? The baby fund. My bonus, he said. I gave it to Lily. You gave her the money for our future child. His lips curled into a cruel smirk. You keep saying our future child like it's still a thing. Maybe it's time you faced reality. Emma, 2 years, nothing. Lily's already there, building her family. I'm just helping. His words hit like blows. That night, Lily came over again, reeking of perfume and arrogance. She dropped her purse on the bench and glided into the kitchen. Got any ginger ale? Feeling queasy. Pregnancy stuff, you know. She winked. Daniel grinned. I stood silent at the counter. She perched on a stool. Daniel said he was tough on you. I told him to ease up. It's not your fault you can't conceive. My grip tightened on a glass. She leaned in. Honestly, though, if Noah doesn't propose by fall, I might go it alone. Single mom life's not bad with a brother like Daniel. I walked out before I shattered the glass. I couldn't breathe in that house. I grabbed my bag and drove, hands trembling, to Mark and Laura's. Laura saw my face and pulled me in without a word. That night, at their dining table, I spilled it all. Slowly at first, then with growing certainty. Daniel's cutting remarks, Lily's visits, the money, the china. Mark looked stunned. Laura, devastated. I pulled out my phone. I recorded some of it, just to know I wasn't imagining things. I played a clip. Daniel laughing with Lily in the kitchen, mocking my efforts, calling me a burden. Lily's voice, if you had someone like me, you'd be a dad already. The silence was heavy. Laura covered her mouth. My God, I whispered. I tried to stay quiet, to be the good wife, hoping he'd change. Mark's jaw clenched. That's not keeping the peace. That's cruelty dressed up nicely. I hesitated. There's more. I don't think Lily's pregnant. Laura blinked. What? She drinks, eats raw fish, smokes. No bump, no doctor talk, just vibes and cash. Mark leaned in. You sure? I called Noah her fiancé. He didn't know about a pregnancy, but he mentioned she's deep in debt. Laura's face hardened. So she faked it for money. I think so. And Daniel handed it over without question. That night, I lay awake, not with anger but with clarity. I wasn't the problem. The next morning, my phone buzzed, Lily calling repeatedly. On the 6th call, I answered. Her voice was shrill, frantic. What's wrong with you, Emma? Why aren't you picking up? Who's this? I asked calmly. A pause. Seriously? Stop it. Why'd you tell my parents? I don't follow. You told them about my pregnancy. And Noah? What gives you the right? I tilted my head. I thought it was good news. Don't people share that with family? You had no right. Why not? Another pause, longer. I pushed. Noah didn't know. Why's that, Lily? You don't get it. Explain it. I was going to tell them when the time was right. Not now. I asked. Or is it because it's not true? Silence. Her breathing quickened. I've seen you drink, smoke, eat raw fish. No doctor visits. So, Lily, are you pregnant, or is this just another scam? You're just jealous. If you're pregnant, show me your medical records. Come to your next OB visit with me. I'll drive. You're crazy, she snapped, her voice wavering. Am I? Or am I the first to call your bluff? Silence, then a click. She hung up. I stared at my phone, calm washing over me. Downstairs, Laura called me. I pocketed the phone and went to them. It was time to share what Lily's silence had confirmed. Then we called Noah. The truth was coming undone, and I wasn't staying silent anymore. Days later, we set the stage. Mark called Daniel. Laura called Lily. I texted Noah. We invited them to the house for a family talk. No details, just a time and place. They came. Daniel arrived first, rigid and smug, like he had better places to be. Lily trailed in, sunglasses on despite the overcast sky. Her usual confidence sharp like cheap cologne. Noah came last, tense, silent, barely looking at Lily. We sat at the long dining table, Mark at the head, Laura beside him, me across from Daniel, Lily next to Noah, avoiding his gaze. The air was heavy. Mark began. Thanks for coming. We're here because things have gone too far. Emma shared everything. Daniel scoffed. Of course she did. Laura turned to him. She told us about the money, the china, how you've treated her. He shifted. I was just helping Lily. Mark's voice tightened. She told us about Lily's pregnancy. Lily blinked. What about it? We talked to Noah, Laura said. Noah's face was stone. You never told me, Lily. I heard it from them. Her face paled. I just hadn't found the right time. 6 months engaged, Noah said softly. When was the right time? Daniel looked confused. What's going on? Mark leaned forward. We asked Lily for proof, a doctor's note, a sonogram. She couldn't provide it. Lily stammered. I've been busy, overwhelmed. Laura cut in, voice sharp. No, Lily. You lied. You faked a pregnancy to get money from your brother. You manipulated everyone, including Noah. Lily's mouth opened, then closed. No words. I trusted you, Noah said, voice cracking. We talked about names, a nursery. Tears spilled from Lily's eyes. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I was in debt, drowning. You stole from Emma, Laura said. That china was her grandmother's. And Daniel, you gave it away like it was yours. Daniel looked shaken. I thought she was pregnant. Mark's voice was firm. Pregnant or not, you gave away what wasn't yours. You broke Emma's trust. I met Daniel's eyes. It's not just the china or money. It's how you spoke to me, made me feel worthless. Daniel turned to me. Emma, I shook my head. Don't. Noah stood. I can't marry someone who lies like this. Lily, we're done. She let out a choked sob, covering her face. Please, Noah, don't. But he was already leaving. Daniel stood. Emma, I didn't know. You didn't ask, I said. You didn't care. You saw me as a failure and treated Lily like a star. You shamed me over and over. He stepped closer. Can't we? No, my voice stayed steady. I won't stay where I'm treated like I don't matter. He sank back, face pale. Mark stood. We're ashamed of you both, he said, looking at Daniel and Lily. You've hurt those who love you most. Laura added, you're on your own now. No more help, no more excuses. Daniel stared at the table. Lily sobbed into her hands. You both need to leave, Mark said quietly. And don't come back. Lily's cries grew louder. Where do I go? That's your problem, Laura said. Emma deserves peace, and we're standing by her. Daniel looked at me one last time. Emma, please. I said nothing. They left, no goodbyes, just slamming doors and fading steps. I stayed with Mark and Laura for weeks. It wasn't simple, but it was calm, my own space. Lily moved into a small apartment, working night shifts at a diner to repay her debts. Noah cut contact. Daniel called a few times. I didn't answer. Eventually, I filed for divorce. I found a cozy apartment across town and started fresh. I carried the lessons, not the pain. One day, I met someone kind, patient, his love quiet but steady. We married a year later in a small garden ceremony, just a dozen guests. Mark and Laura wept through it all. 6 months later, I welcomed our daughter, Nora. For our first Thanksgiving as a family, I set the table with simple white plates I'd chosen myself. No heirlooms, no weight, just warmth. That weekend, as we packed up the stroller after a park visit, a voice called out, Emma. I turned. Daniel stood there, thin, weary, a shadow of the man I'd known. That your daughter? I nodded. Nora. He gave a faint smile. She's beautiful. You look happy. I am. He nodded slowly. I'm sorry. For everything. I looked at him for a moment, then smiled softly, genuinely. I hope you find your peace, Daniel. Then I took Nora's hand and walked back to the life I'd built, no regrets.